Welcome back to the channel, folks. Today we are fishing another new lake. I like to fish new lakes every couple days because if you fish the same lake over and over again, like most YouTubers do, you know where the fish are going to be, you know when they're going to be there, you know what they're going to want to eat. But if you fish new lakes every single week, you're going to learn new ways to catch fish, and you're going to learn more about ice fishing in general because every single lake is different and you can never learn too much about ice fishing, let's be honest, guys. I got the Vexilar cam as always so you guys can see what I'm seeing when I'm seeing it. Today's lake is in the metro. We are just fishing a super small lake here. We got 30 feet max depth. I'm sitting on a drop off today. I looked on Navionics and I found a nice drop off from 7 feet all the way down to 25. I'm gonna drill about 15 holes. We're gonna work a whole circle around this drop off to try to find where the fish are. I'm gonna start deep today and then make my way shallow as it gets later tonight because there is a lot of fish that are gonna push shallow as it gets later, especially with this early ice. I got a tip up set up because there's a lot of tiger muskie and a lot of pike in here. In case one comes through, I would love to catch them on a live sucker minnow. Otherwise, we're just gonna be kind of working our way around today, trying new things, trying new baits, and we're gonna see what these fish wanna eat today. I already got a mark on the Vexilar, which is awesome. I'm gonna start out by just fishing for some panfish, see if we can get some. As it gets later, I might target some walleye tonight. I just wanna get started, guys. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's catch some fish. Alrighty, we're gonna drop down. We're sitting at about 23, 24 feet of water right here. And I wanna drop all the way down here to the bottom, see if anything's sitting down here. Just a little Acme Tackle hammered golden jig, super small presentation with 2 waxies and a Euro larvae. I call it the trifecta, it never lets me down. Let me tell you guys, the trifecta is killer. 1 Euro, 2 waxies, always works. I wanna see if there's anything on the bottom here. I'm jigging really close to the bottom in case there's a fish hugging the bottom that wants the deadly trifecta. If I was a fish, I'd eat it. But then again, if I was a fish, I'd eat anything. Oh yeah, we got a fish down there. There's definitely something just kind of hugging bottom. I just saw him come off a little bit. I don't know if he wants to bite, but there is something down there, that's for sure. Oh, yeah, there's definitely something on the bottom there. Oh yeah. Yep, here we are. Pretty decent mark too, guys. Come on, I gotta pull him up. I mean, he's right there. I'm looking at him. He's on the bottom. Here he comes, He's gonna smack this. Let's sit for a sec. There's no way this fish doesn't eat it. There's 2 of them right here. 2 of them. There is no way one of these guys doesn't eat it. Come on, get up here. 3 of them, 4 of them. I got a whole school right here. Fish on. There we go. Fish on. Just a little guy, little gill. First fish of the day though. We'll take it. I mean, I had a whole school just pop up. As you guys can see there, we already got another mark down there. We had about 3 fish come off the bottom. Nothing crazy nice, but he ate the trifecta. I'm telling you guys, this thing works. Awesome, he must have been a school of gills that just came through. Little guy, I'll show him off though if you guys want to see him real quick. Nice little guy, nothing crazy, but I will take it. We're gonna get it right back in the water and hopefully catch something a little bit bigger. I want to drop back down here. Those fish came out of nowhere. All of a sudden there was 1, then there was 2, and then there was what looked like 3 or 4 there. And one of them took the opportunity to bite. Super subtle bite, but he got it, and that is all that matters. We're gonna put back on the trifecta. 1 Euro to 2 waxworms. This thing is killer for getting fish. I have never failed with the trifecta. And there we go. Let's drop her back down, guys. It takes a while to get down here. Yeah, about 23 feet right here. I'm gonna get all the way down to the bottom. Looks like we got another fish hugging bottom down here. All the way at the bottom, he's just sitting down there. Probably hungry too. I'm sure he is. I'm hoping we get another school to come through though. That was awesome. I mean, out of nowhere, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish. Yeah, we got something hugging bottom right now. There's definitely a fish down there. He's sitting about maybe 3 inches off the bottom, hugging bottom, but he's there and that's all that matters. I'm actually a little surprised those first fish didn't come up and eat. The first 2 that came up, it took that 1 oddball to get out of that bunch and eat. The first 2 came up and looked at it, but did not smack it. But I did get that one to come off and eat, so that is good. That is good. Checking the tip ups, making sure no flags are going off. Don't want to miss a big fish. That would not be good. Most of these fish seem to be hugging bottom. We are on a super nice drop off, as I said before. I mean, 7 feet right there to about 25, 30 feet right there. Super quick drop off, which is usually really beneficial when you're targeting fish. Seems most of these fish are sitting a little bit deeper today. I tried shallow earlier, couldn't get anything. So I'm sitting a little bit deeper, and it seems to be beneficial. Seems to be working, which is awesome. We got 2 tip-ups up. My tip-up and his tip-up. His tip-up is sitting super shallow in about 10 or 15 feet of water. Mine is over there in 30 feet of water, but he's a foot off the bottom, and I'm fishing super high up, right about 6 feet under the ice. Seeing if anything's cruising the top, he's seeing if anything's cruising the bottom. Seems to work. You want to kind of have all your stuff varied. I'm fishing deep, he's fishing shallow. So if there's fish deep, I'm gonna get them. If there's fish shallow, he's gonna get them. And if we can work as much water as we possibly can, it'll help us find more fish. Because what you wanna do is you wanna work as much water as you can to find the fish. So we drilled about 15 holes all around here, and we're just dropping a bait in one hole, wait 5 minutes, nothing's there, move on to the next hole. You gotta find the fish. They're not always gonna be in the same spot. So you gotta work a lot of water, work a lot of depths, and try to find where these fish are at, especially when you're fishing new lakes like this. You gotta spend a lot of time finding points, drop-offs, stuff like that. Luckily, I have Navionics, so I can just pull up my phone and look through and find depths. But yeah, if you're doing it by just drilling holes and finding depths, it's not gonna be that easy. We got another fish. Yeah, he's just kind of hugging bottom right now. I don't know if he's gonna come off. I'm gonna kind of pull it up a little bit, see if he wants to move. It looks like we got something hugging bottom. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? I'm actually gonna move to a different hole. I fished this one for about 5 minutes after the fish. Not a bite. I want to keep working more water, trying to see where these fish are at. I'm gonna go deeper, see if there's anything out there, guys. Alrighty, let's drop down here. I'm not marking anything on the bottom, but just because I'm not marking anything doesn't mean they're not there. They could be 5 feet to my right. My Vexler wouldn't even pick that up, and I'd never know. So let's get down here, see if we can catch ourselves another fish. All right, right off the bottom now. I'm just fishing super, super close to the bottom. Just gonna kind of try to hug it and see if there's anything roaming around the bottom that I can kind of pick off. There's definitely a fish there, that's for sure. Something's sitting right off the bottom. Is he gonna move though? I'm gonna kind of, some tactics like this work. If there's a fish hugging bottom, I'll bring it about 2 feet off the bottom from where I am and see if he actually takes that opportunity to bite, because sometimes the fish are sitting there and they see your bait, they're not gonna strike. But if you move it away from them, they will usually, I'm saying usually because it doesn't always work, they will usually strike that if they're an aggressive fish, because they see your bait running away, they see your bait moving away, they go, oh, I want to eat this, and now they see it going away, and they think, okay, now I got to take my opportunity to bite. They see it leaving, they get all riled up, and they go eat it. Really, really works for a lot of crappie. Crappie's eyes are looking up, so they're looking at bait up here. So sometimes if your bait's below them or right in front of them, they won't actually eat. But if your bait's right above them, they see it a lot better and they will strike up and eat. All right, you know what? I fished this hole for the last 15 minutes. Not even a little nibski. We're gonna switch over to a hole like 15 feet to our right. 15 feet on the ice can make a huge difference. I mean, you guys know that. You probably fish next to somebody 3 feet to your left and he's slamming fish and you're not catching anything. Literally 3 feet can make the biggest difference in ice fishing. It's unbelievable how much difference a couple feet can make. It's nuts. All right, we're gonna move on to the next hole, guys. Alrighty, I'm gonna drop down here. It's a little bit shallower here too. Shallower by about 5 feet, which is good. Let's drop down here, see if we can maybe mark any fish right away. That'd be awesome. Didn't mark one down there for about 15 minutes. So we gotta keep moving. I mean, I drilled all these holes for a reason. Gotta keep moving, gotta find the fish. They're not all in one spot. I know a few lakes where they just kind of stick to one point, but this is not like those lakes. That's what's good about trying new spots. I mean, every place is different. So every place you try that is new and you haven't fished before, I promise you, you're gonna learn something new about ice fishing. You're gonna learn a new tactic, learn a new way to catch fish, at least learn something new, because each lake is different. No lake's the same. Every fish is different too. Some fish might want this color, some fish might want that color. Walleye on one lake like this color jig, walleye on red lake like this color jig, Lake of the Woods is a different color. Every lake is just a little bit different. And then you also got those guys who'll tell you the most random color and it just doesn't work. But they just want to sell that color. Oh, we just got a mark on the bottom. Yeah, there's definitely something on the bottom there. Probably about 6 inches off the bottom. He's hugging bottom. Are we gonna be able to pull him up a little bit? I'm gonna kind of raise it up a little bit, see if he wants to move. Maybe now I'm gonna drop down to him, put it in his face a little bit here, see if is he still there? It's hard to tell when they kind of blend in with the bottom. I don't even know if he's still there. Looks like a little something, but I don't think he's that close anymore. But yeah, every lake's different. You got to try new things, try new spots, try new ways to catch fish. And that is just, I love it. I mean, I love fishing new spots, getting myself out of my comfort zone and trying new things. This lake, it seems like the fish are pushing deep, pushing these deep drop-offs. The lake I fished yesterday, fished deep for half the morning, not a single bite, went into the shallows, and there they are. Absolute opposite. Really getting out of my comfort zone today. Yeah, that's a fish right there. That's actually 2 fish. Yeah, we got some marks, guys. I'm gonna bring it up a little bit higher, see if I can pull them up here. We got a few marks here. I just don't know if they're gonna wanna come up. Pretty decent looking marks, could be something nice. They might not be interested. They're here though, that's for sure. I just had those fish come in pretty quickly. I think they're still there, they're just hugging bottom. Showed up out of nowhere. I mean, I think they're still here. I'm not exactly sure what they are. If they're panfish, I'm surprised they're not eating the trifecta. If you guys have the opportunity, I'm asking you, try a trifecta, all right? It's my own little special something, but I mean, it works. If you're having fish that won't bite, try a trifecta. 2 axes, 1 euro larvae, red or white, either or. Just give it a try. I mean, you guys have to try it. It is absolutely killer. I use it with a gold hammered Acme Tackle jig. You guys can use it with whatever you like. I mean, if you want to throw down a crankbait with it, be my guest. If you want to try a spook with it, if you get them to bite, I'd be really impressed. Do whatever you feel like you want to do. I like my gold hammered jigs. Oh, we got a fish down here. Oh yeah, we got a little McMarkinton down here. No flags up. Let's see here. I'm gonna drop down to him, put it in his face, kind of jig it a little bit. See if he wants to eat right here. I'm gonna bring it up. He's just not aggressive. He doesn't want it. It doesn't always work. But if there's one, there's more. That is for sure. I mean, he's still down there. He's hugging bottom and he won't get off the bottom. All right, let's drop down. A little bit bigger of a bait here. See if it makes much difference here today, guys. Drop down. Looks like we got a mark down here. It's a little bit bigger of a bait. They weren't liking the small ones. So let's get a little jigging going with the bigger bait. See if it gets them hungry. Definitely got a mark down here. May not be too aggressive. But there was a fish there. Can't get them all, but we're gonna try to get some today. Even the littler guys are gonna like this spoon. Catch all sizes on it. Big, small, medium, large, anything likes it. I've caught big pike on these Castmasters and I've caught tiny little gills. It's that perfect size to get just about anything that wants to bite. A lot of people think if you got finicky fish to size down your presentation to as small as you can get, but that doesn't always work. Sometimes what I like to do, I couldn't get a fish to bite on a little jig forever because a lot of small fish are gonna come up and they look at it and they don't want it. Sometimes I try to go up, actually upsize and get a little bit of a bigger presentation. I just went from a super tiny jig and now I'm dropping down a spoon. Because even if like a little pike comes through, a little bass, or maybe even a bigger panfish, they're gonna see these little baits and they're not even gonna be interested. Because I mean, they see a whole bunch of other fish looking at it and they go, okay, all these little guys are interested in it, I don't want it. But if they see a little bit of a bigger bait, more their size, or even some of the smaller fish might want it, they go, this is the bait I want, you know, this is the size I want, this is mine, and they're gonna take that opportunity to bite. Sometimes try sizing up. I like to switch baits a lot, I like to switch colors a lot. I recommend, instead of just switching the same color of the same bait, try switching baits, try different baits instead of different colors, because sometimes they'll like one bait and they won't like a different bait. I like to fish all different kinds of baits to see what these fish like, especially if I'm fishing new lakes. And if the fish are super finicky, I will throw a little bit of a bigger bait, because even in the winter, I do this a lot for trout fishing, I think to size down my baits, slow down my presentation, which works. But sometimes you might have to size up your baits, mainly because these fish are gonna be a little bit slower. It's colder weather, you know, they're slower. When you're cold, you move slower, you do things slower. So when these fish are gonna be moving slower like this, they're colder, sometimes they wanna eat one big meal with less effort than eat 5 smaller meals and have to go around getting smaller meals. So if you throw a bigger bait down, they might take that opportunity, especially with tip-ups. I like to throw really big baits in my tip-ups. And I've caught little fish on some very big baits. I mean, just recently, I caught a walleye on a super big tip-up bait, mainly because they want one big meal instead of a lot of small meals. So sometimes you'll even catch these little fish with baits the exact same size as the fish. They want one big bait that they won't have too much effort to eat. That will keep them stuffed for a while instead of going around eating smaller things. So sometimes size up your presentation because there's a lot of fish that are gonna want one really big bait. Wouldn't it be much easier to eat a single thing and it'll keep you stuffed instead of eating 15 different things that aren't even gonna fill you up? Less effort, better fish, and it usually works, guys. So sometimes I recommend try sizing up because a lot of the smaller fish aren't gonna eat it, some of them might, but the bigger fish that come through, they're gonna see no small fish around your bait and they might come in and eat that. So try sizing up, guys. Instead of just changing colors, change some baits, throw something a little bit bigger. All right, let's move. Hole's not producing. Let's go try a different one. Marking anything other than our baits? Oh yeah, for sure. It's dumb, but it works. Like this little jiggle like this, just that constant, gives it a huge shake. I've caught a lot of nice fish, just kind of, it's so weird, but it works. Yep, and there's a fish on it. Here he comes. I mean, I got him to come up with that. He's right there, he's on the graph. For some odd reason, I mean, things you learn over the years. This kind of looks so dumb. Like this. But it brings in the fish. Weird tactic, but it works. He didn't want it. I mean, he came up. I'll take that. I mean, the fish came up, just didn't want it. Oh, I got a fish right on my dead stick already. I'd love to bring some of these guys home, finish off the day. A nice little crappie catch and cook, or panfish catch and cook, or any kind of catch and cook. Whatever kind, you catch them and you cook them, that's all I care about. We're just gonna drop down a little silver Castmaster, tip with some Euro larvae. We got 2 fish on the bottom now. These fish seem to come in like crazy as soon as it got dark. So let's see if we can drop down to them here. See if we can get one of these guys to want to come out of their comfort zone and give us a bite. We'll see if we can move them. Oh, bobber down. Got him. Nice. It's a nice slab. It's starting to move a little bit. Oh, something. What are you doing? Oh, I'm about to get smacked. I'm about to get absolutely smacked. Come on, commit. Fish on. I'll take it. I will take it. That was not long before we got one, guys. Sweet. Dropped it down. He was suspended at 15 feet with 23 feet of depth. He was suspended pretty high. As soon as I got down there, showed up in my graph, pulled it up above his head about 1.5 feet and ate right away. Awesome. Sometimes I like to work the whole graph though. Like I'll work it all the way up, then bring it all the way down. Because sometimes the fish don't see it. Is that what you're talking about? You're saying like bring it all, drop it down, just like bring it up? Oh.
All the way up and then drop it down.
Yeah, I've had that work a lot for walleye. Because they're suspended up and they don't see a bait, so I bring it all the way up. I work the whole entire graph from bottom all the way up to top. And sometimes when I do that, there'll be a fish just show up right on the graph because I saw the bait. And it works really well. I've had to work on Lake of the Woods a lot. Just, there's a fish up 7 feet under the ice, 10 feet under the ice. I don't know he's there. I work the whole graph from the bottom all the way to the top. and all of a sudden a mark will show up. Sometimes you just gotta pull up, try different depths without even knowing if there's fish there. Sometimes there is. It's gonna be a pain to fillet. Oh, this guy just came out of nowhere. Do not go back in the hole. I just missed him.
That would have been the
Here, wait, he's coming back, he's coming back, he's coming back. We might have a part 2 here. Fish, oh, that's nicer, that's nicer. A little bit nicer, I mean, it's definitely... Sorry. Sorry, my bad. Dude.
That one wasn't getting away.
I only had one hand. I wasn't letting him get away. I need the food. Oh, that was a close one. He was going right back in that hole there. I had to snag him real quick. Oh. He wanted it. I gave it to him, and we caught him. Another crappie here, not as big as I thought, but definitely a good eater. There she is, guys. She's going on the ice with the other ones. Oh, flag, flag. Just a little walleye, but it's a walleye, guys. Man, I'm surprised. It's a small walleye for how big of a bait I threw down there. Flag went off, walleye bit it. I mean, look at the bait we got here. This is the bait that I was using here. I mean, look at this thing. I am so surprised this guy came out and ate that. The depth is 9 feet, and I had my bait sitting at 6 feet. Flag went off, fish ate it. That is always good. She's just a little guy, she's going back in the water. All right, buddy. And there she goes.